Many changes are coming to the redesigned SAT in March, perhaps none so important to students as the overall changes in structure and scoring of the test. The current SAT, as many of you know, is scored out of 2,400 points. There are 3 sections: math, critical reading, and writing, each of those scored from 200 to 800. That was a fairly recent change. Before 2005, the SAT was only out of 1,600 points, which is still the score that many people think of. Since that third 800 writing score never really took with colleges, the redesigned SAT is going to take it out. So the SAT is going back to the 1,600 point total score. What's important for students to know is that while the writing section score has been removed, the writing questions have not. Now those grammar questions are being rolled into the critical reading questions to provide one evidence-based reading and writing 800 score balanced against one 800 mathematics score. So in the current iteration of the SAT, the grammar questions maybe weren't quite so important because a lot of colleges didn't even care about that 800. That's no longer going to be the case, as everybody's now going to care about both of those 800 sections of the newly redesigned SAT. Not only is the structure of the sections changing on the redesigned SAT, but the structure of the questions is changing a little bit too. First, the questions themselves are going from 5 multiple choices down to 4. That's good news for just about every student out there. And what perhaps even better news is that the guessing penalty is gone. As the SAT currently exists, it's actually worse to get a question wrong than it is to skip it. So many students have to sit there and keep asking themselves, oh my goodness, do I know enough to even guess on this question? Well, that's a question you don't have to worry about anymore. You will make your best guess to every question. You will bubble in every bubble. All in all, these changes tend to make the SAT look a little more like the ACT, but either way you slice it, really good news for students. Both the newly redesigned SAT and the current SAT are very long tests. The current SAT checks in at 3 hours and 45 minutes in length, while the new one, while many people hoped that it would get a little shorter, actually it didn't. The new redesigned SAT is going to check in at 3 hours and 50 minutes. That does, however, include a now optional essay. Important changes to the structure that you need to be aware of are that the essay section, which used to come first, now is optional and comes at the end. Also, the sections themselves have grown longer and there are fewer of them. So while the current SAT features 10 total sections, none longer than 25 minutes, the new SAT only has 5 sections and they're significantly longer. So what that means for students is they'll need to practice maintaining focus over longer intervals of time. But the good news is, once you finish that reading section, you're done with reading. Either test, however, is very long, and by very long I mean much longer than what students have experience with in school. So whether you're preparing for the new SAT or the current SAT, a really important component of your preparation should be taking practice tests. Students just don't have a lot of experience taking 3.5-hour tests. Unfortunately, I don't know of any way to practice taking 3.5-hour tests other than to take 3.5-hour tests. So be sure you do a lot of practice testing as you prepare for the SAT.